Amanda had always dreamed of marrying a wealthy man, and when she met Charles, it felt like fate. Charles was everything a woman could want: handsome, successful, and generous. After a whirlwind romance, they got married in a lavish ceremony that was the talk of the town. With 4 beautiful children and a grand mansion, Amanda's life seemed perfect. There was only one problem: Amanda didn't know the first thing about managing a home. She grew up in comfort, where everything was done for her, and in her new life as a wife and mother, it was no different. She found household chores overwhelming and started looking for a house help to run things smoothly. After weeks of searching, Amanda found Zara, a calm, beautiful young woman with impeccable manners. Zara came highly recommended by an acquaintance. Amanda was instantly taken by her charm and hired her on the spot. Zara's presence in the house was a relief for Amanda. Finally, someone to handle the cooking, cleaning, and care for the children. Within days, Zara's influence spread throughout the household. The children adored her, and even Charles seemed impressed by her efficiency. Amanda began to relax, believing she could now focus on her social life and let Zara take care of the home. But Amanda didn't realize she had just let a serpent into her sanctuary. At first, the changes were subtle. Amanda's children started acting strangely. They spent more time with Zara than with their mother. They no longer listened to Amanda's instructions and often whispered among themselves in a strange, unfamiliar language. Her husband, Charles, who had always been attentive, also started to grow distant. He would come home from work, greet Zara warmly, and barely acknowledge Amanda. Something was amiss, but Amanda convinced herself that she was being paranoid. One night, Amanda overheard a strange conversation between Zara and her children. Zara's voice was low and soothing, almost hypnotic, as she told the children bedtime stories that Amanda had never heard before, stories about serpents, ancient gods, and forbidden rituals. Amanda shivered. There was something unsettling about the way Zara spoke, but she brushed it off, thinking it was harmless folklore. Weeks passed, and Charles's behavior worsened. He started spending late nights at home, sitting with Zara in the living room and drinking tea with her, something he had never done with Amanda. There was a growing closeness between them that made Amanda feel like an outsider in her own home. When she tried to confront him about it, he snapped at her. "She's the only one in this house who knows what she's doing," Charles said coldly. "If you can't run the home, at least let her do her job." Amanda felt humiliated. It was as if Zara had bewitched her husband and was slowly replacing her. One night, Amanda woke up with a start. She heard strange hissing noises coming from downstairs. Her heart pounded in her chest as she crept out of bed and followed the sound. From the staircase, she saw something that froze her blood. Zara stood in the center of the living room, her human skin shimmering and shifting in the moonlight. Before Amanda's horrified eyes, Zara's body began to transform. Her smooth skin turned into gleaming scales, and her legs fused into a long, powerful tail. She was a python in human form. Amanda stifled a scream and ran back to her room, her mind spinning. Zara wasn't just a house help, she was something ancient and evil, and she had infiltrated their home. Amanda tried to warn her husband, but Charles refused to listen. In fact, he became even more hostile toward her. "You're losing your mind," he said angrily. "Zara has been nothing but helpful, and you're accusing her of nonsense." When Amanda tried to confide in her children, they too turned against her. "Zara is better than you," her youngest daughter shouted. "She understands us." It was as if the children were under a spell. Amanda was heartbroken. She watched helplessly as Zara's influence deepened. Her children no longer saw her as their mother. They only listened to Zara. Things quickly spiraled out of control. Charles stopped sharing a bed with Amanda and spent his nights downstairs with Zara. The children refused to eat food cooked by Amanda, demanding only Zara's meals. Amanda was slowly being erased from her own family. The final blow came one stormy evening. Amanda returned home from a friend's house to find Zara sitting comfortably in the master bedroom, her bedroom, while Charles and the children gathered around her. "You don't belong here anymore," Charles said coldly. "This is Zara's home now." Amanda was stunned. "What are you saying?" "I'm your wife, the mother of your children." Charles's face was expressionless. "Not anymore. W." With that, Amanda was forced out of the house she once called home. Zara had taken everything, her husband, her children, her life. Amanda wandered the streets in despair, her heart shattered. How had she lost everything so quickly? She had no family to turn to and nowhere to go. For days, she slept on the streets, barely eating, haunted by the betrayal of her loved ones. Then, one night, an old woman approached her. "You've been touched by dark magic, child," the woman said. "The serpent has taken what is yours, but there is still a way to fight back." Amanda listened intently as the old woman explained that Zara's power could be broken, but only if Amanda was willing to confront her fears and fight for her family. Armed with new knowledge and a protective charm from the old woman, Amanda returned to her home. She could feel the dark energy pulsing from the house, but she steeled herself and marched inside. Zara was waiting for her, coiled in her serpent form, ready to strike. "You should have stayed away," she hissed. But Amanda was no longer afraid. She threw the charm at Zara, and the serpent let out a terrifying scream as her human form dissolved. The children, too, fell to the floor, the spell broken. Charles woke as if from a dream, confused and disoriented. What happened?" he whispered. With Zara gone, Amanda's family was free from the serpent's curse. It wasn't easy, but Amanda slowly rebuilt her relationship with her children and husband. They apologized for the pain they had caused her, and Amanda forgave them, knowing they had been victims too. From that day on, Amanda vowed never to let anyone take control of her life or her home again. She became stronger, more vigilant, and more present for her family. Her story became a powerful lesson, a reminder to all women to guard their homes carefully and never take anything for granted. The first few days after Zara's departure were unsettling. Amanda's children had to adjust to life without the influence of the Python woman, and Charles seemed haunted by guilt, though he struggled to express it. The house that once buzzed with chaos now felt heavy with silence, like a battlefield after a long war. Amanda threw herself into the work of rebuilding her family. The children were wary around her, especially the older ones, who had been under Zara's spell for so long that they barely recognized their mother's warmth. They hesitated to hug her, afraid they might be punished for their betrayal, even though Amanda assured them she forgave them. Charles, too, struggled to reintegrate into the life they once shared. The charm that broke Zara's influence had left him shaken, memories of the things he had done and said under the spell gnawed at him. Amanda could see the guilt in his eyes, but every time she tried to address it, he would pull away. At first, Charles stayed home more often, but guilt and shame kept him distant. The children remained attached to one another, forming a tight circle that Amanda felt excluded from. Even though Zara was gone, the emotional damage she caused lingered like a shadow over the household. Amanda's youngest, Tina, cried often at night, whispering Zara's name in her sleep. The other children avoided talking about their time under Zara's control. Amanda knew that they had been more than just enchanted, they had been manipulated and emotionally conditioned to see Zara as their true caregiver. She thought things might improve with time, but it soon became clear that the problems ran deeper. Her eldest son, Junior, had become secretive, hiding things in his room. One evening, Amanda found a strange amulet beneath his pillow, a small object with serpent engravings. Panic gripped her heart. Was Zara's magic still lingering in her children? The discovery of the amulet disturbed Amanda. She rushed to confront Junior, who refused to explain where he had gotten it. "It's mine," he snapped defensively. "It makes me feel safe." His words chilled Amanda to the bone. Amanda sought out the old woman who had helped her break Zara's spell. The crone listened carefully, her old eyes filled with sorrow. "The serpent's magic does not die easily," the woman warned. "It leaves pieces of itself in the hearts it touches. If you do not act quickly, Zara's influence will spread through your children again." Amanda begged for guidance, and the woman gave her a ritual, one that would cleanse her children of the serpent's lingering curse. But it came with a grave warning: the ritual must be performed with love and strength. If fear or anger taints it, the curse will return stronger. Amanda returned home determined to carry out the ritual, but her children resisted. They were confused and frightened. They didn't understand why Amanda was suddenly so insistent on taking away the small tokens, amulets, trinkets, and other keepsakes that Zara had given them. "You're trying to ruin everything," Junior yelled. "She was better than you. She made us happy." His words were like knives to Amanda's heart, but she refused to give up. On the night of the full moon, Amanda prepared the cleansing ritual. She gathered her children in the living room, lighting candles and placing herbs the old woman had given her in a circle. Charles sat silently in the corner, watching, unsure how to help but too guilt-ridden to interfere. As Amanda began the ritual, the children grew restless. They squirmed in their seats, whining that they didn't want to be there. Amanda could feel Zara's dark magic fighting back, twisting their emotions, filling them with anger and fear. Just as Amanda feared the ritual was failing, Tina burst into tears, crying out, "I miss her. I miss Zara." Amanda's heart ached. Her children had been emotionally starved under Zara's spell, and now they were struggling to process the loss of someone they thought cared for them. Instead of scolding them, Amanda knelt before her children, gathering them into her arms. "I know you miss her," she whispered, tears in her eyes. "But she wasn't what she seemed. I am your mother, and I will love you no matter what. We will get through this together." Her words, filled with love and forgiveness, broke the last threads of Zara's magic. The children sobbed in her arms, releasing months of confusion, fear, and sadness. The air in the room shifted, and Amanda knew the curse was finally broken. The days that followed were not easy, but they were different. Amanda's children began to open up to her, sharing memories of their time under Zara's control. Slowly, trust was rebuilt. Amanda became more involved in their lives, helping them unlearn the toxic habits Zara had instilled. Charles, too, began to heal. He apologized to Amanda one evening, sitting on the balcony where they had once shared countless happy moments. "I let her take control," he admitted. "I was weak, and I hurt you. I don't expect you to forgive me." Amanda looked at him, feeling the weight of everything they had been through. "I already forgave you," she said quietly. "But we need to rebuild what we lost." And so, they began again, not as the perfect family they once thought they were, but as a family willing to fight for each other. Life seemed to return to normal, but Amanda remained vigilant. The old woman had warned her, the serpent never truly dies. Amanda knew that Zara's influence could linger in unexpected ways, waiting for a moment of weakness to resurface. One day, while cleaning the attic, Amanda found an old box of Zara's belongings that had been hidden away. Among the items was a letter addressed to her. The letter read, "You thought you could banish me, Amanda, but serpents always return. Watch your back, For I will come again, if not in your home, then in another. A chill ran down Amanda's spine. She knew that Zara, or something like her, might one day return. But this time, Amanda was ready. She had learned a powerful lesson. It takes love, vigilance, and strength to protect what matters most. Amanda's ordeal inspired her to share her story with other women. She began speaking at community gatherings and started a support group for women dealing with toxic influences in their homes. Her story resonated with many wives who had lost control of their homes, mothers struggling to reconnect with their children, and women learning to fight for what was rightfully theirs. Through her newfound purpose, Amanda not only reclaimed her family but also empowered others to protect their homes and hearts. She knew that serpents would always exist in various forms: manipulative people, dark influences, and toxic emotions. But she also knew that love and resilience were the strongest weapons. Amanda's family thrived in the years that followed. Her children grew up understanding the value of love, forgiveness, and strength. Charles became a more present and attentive husband and father, determined never to repeat his mistakes. And though Zara's warning lingered in the back of Amanda's mind, she no longer lived in fear. She knew that no matter what came her way, she had the strength to face it. For a serpent's power is only as strong as the fear it feeds on, and Amanda had none left to give.